the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Turn 3 Racing Network, as tonight we're here with the OP Racing Premier Series as they bring you the Bumpy Road 250. Field is rolling out as we speak. So I am your host for tonight. My name is KR Stolfus, and in the booth with me is none other than Dawson Wise. Dawson, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, KR. Glad to be back again. Second trip to this racetrack, just like it was our second trip to Daytona and Talladega. So expecting some good racing tonight with some changes that we'll, I'm sure, talk about a little bit later.
That we will, but let's get through this grid very quickly here. Anthony English, Hunter Reynolds on row 1. Row 2, Steve Karosik and Richard Sanchez. Row 3, Mark Mann, Vicente Guerrero. Row 4, Jeff Crosby Jr. and Peter DeBorgia. Row number 5 will be Les Levy and Gabe Butler.
Row number 6 will be Casey Gilchrist and Andy Briganti. Row number 7 will be Richard Kuhn and Josh Milam. Row number 8 will be Jimmy Reynolds and Travis Elliott. Row number 9 is where you find Tyler Miller and Kody Neagles. And row 10 is where you find Kevin Freeze and Mr. Zach Fritsch.
Eric Laurie, Sean Stevens, row 11. Row 12, Jeff Crosby Sr. and John Guerrero. Row 13, Logan Helton and Bubba Winningham. Row 14, Sean McCarra and Alex Green. And row 15 will be Nate Warren and David Booth.
Last 5 trucks in the field tonight: Stephen Miles in 31st, Matt Wagner 32nd, Zach Workman 33rd, David Overstreet 34th, and Adam Kilday shotgun on the field in position 35.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's starting lineup for the Bumpy Road 250 as the field makes its way off of turn number 4. We get ready to go green flag racing We are dropping a few frames here, so hopefully that'll fix itself out here in just a minute. If not, we'll take some action. So until then, we'll just call it like we see it. And away we go.
Yeah, pace truck is downfield in the hands of Mr. Anthony English in the 44. Waiting for that green flag. There it is. Green flag on the way in the Bumpy Road 250 from Daytona. Top doesn't really get going. Hunter Reynolds had to get a push there. Richard Sanchez says, hey, I want to get going. And Hunter, I'm not sure what happened there. I don't even missed a shift into third. Bottom line starts to roll pretty early. It's Anthony English and Steve Karosik. Mark Mann is back there, along with Jeff Crosby Jr. of FSR. Off of turn number 2, 2x2, everybody in formation. Not really anybody moving out of line just yet. Casey Gilchrist first to move bottom to middle, a little further back, about 6 rows back to be exact. But other than that, everybody pretty much 2x2 just staying lined up, headed back towards turn 3.
As they make their way into turn number 3, side by side. Man, oh man, they are already wiggling back and forth. Everyone trying to, well, get through this opening lap, get their trucks up to speed. And right now, the 44 of Anthony English is going to lead our opening lap. So that's a good start to the race for him.
It's a rare strategy from Anthony English. We're used to him kind of just hanging back, waiting for a little bit later in the race. Tonight, apparently not. He wants to be up front. He wants to be in control, and it's rare, at least on Monday nights, to see him up front this early. But good to see him out front. Behind him, though, just not a lot of movement. This is kind of odd. It's kind of like what we saw last week, which we ended up foreshadowing. It's a little bit less than a 2x2 formation later on in the race. But for now, everybody just kind of content to ride where they're at as Reynolds moves up a little bit. So let's see if Steve Karosik makes our first move of the race. I think he will. And indeed, I'm right. Steve Karosik to the outside for the race lead off turn number 4 as we're going to put lap 3 on the board. Karosik to the point to stack up on the bottom. And yes, Karosik will lead with help from Hunter Reynolds.
027 out in front now for the first time tonight. So let's go ahead and take a look at our race info coming into tonight's race. There will be no cautions for the stages. Now, our stages are still at lap 25 and lap 50, but we will continue racing through the stage and try and do an interview with the stage winners should a caution present us that opportunity. Logan Helton is our first repeat winner of the season. We'll see if he can go 3 in a row. And someone didn't update the fuel, and we expect about 20 laps on a fuel run because they did add some more fuel to these tanks. And of course, as always, 1 fast repair.
Everything else still normal. The added laps are going to make it interesting, though. Do you short pit and go for stage points? Maybe outlast the guys that stay out. Maybe if you're a little further back, you take a risk to try to short pit and just make it to the end of the stage. Or, I don't know. We're going to see some interesting strategies. And 3 wide, a little further up front here. It's Peter DeBorgia. Looks like has some help from Josh Milam in the 7. Travis Elliott, Kevin Freeze. They're the first to test the 3rd line. As they try to work their way to the front of the field. But it's going to be really interesting because you'll see guys that maybe want to stay out for stage points, maybe short pit, change up the strategy, and then you're going to see guys that are going to focus on the win at the end. And as we get later in this regular season, that group, it's going to grow increasingly large of guys that are just like, all right, well, I just have to go for the win. Stage points aren't going to matter. But for the guys that are already in the playoffs or maybe already in a points position, you're going to see that a lot. 3x3 up front, though. DeBorgia has roared his way to the front with the help of Josh Milam up top against the wall.
Just 2 drivers have broke into the 46-second bracket, and that is Zach Fritsch and Matt Wagner at the tail end of the field. Right now, Zach Fritsch has the fastest lap of the race at a 46.93, as Peter DeBorgia out in front running 3 wide, but that changes very quickly as that inside lane. Oh, in trouble! Hunter Reynolds
right in front of the whole field. We're going to pile it up again. Jeff Crosby gets turned to the apron, and more trucks scatter off turn number 4.
And Peter DeBorgia and Hunter Reynolds slide all the way from turn 4 to the tri-oval. And wow, what a big one this was here on lap 6, or coming to start lap 6. So let's see. trying to back this up to find what happened here. Take a look here. They make their way off of turn number 4. That looks like the 26 just drifted up just a little bit. And so many trucks scattered. Looks like 3 more get added in. Go off the nose of the 04 Mark Mann, and 26 just starts drifting up.
Yeah, it seemed like it was just it's a product of the racetrack we race on. I think that we're racing on tonight. It just, you don't have a lot of grip, and when you're 3 wide, there's not a lot of space. And looks like the 26 and the 04 Mark Mann, Hunter Reynolds, they just came together in a really bad spot. Or excuse me, not Mark Mann, it's Peter DeBorge. I got my 0 and the 4 mixed up. But then as the guys in the middle and the bottom lanes went to scatter, they just all collected each other. That was really weird. Kevin Freeze actually gets in that as well. Huge blow to Alliance Motorsports and Team Bootnaka as well.
Do want to take a moment to say hello to everybody in chat. Thank you guys for stopping by and joining us here tonight. I am aware of the internet issues, as I've been trying to say in the chat. Hopefully things mellow out, but yeah, I did receive an email saying that they were going to be doing some work in the neighborhood. What that means, I don't know. So we're here until we're not.
Well, yeah, I guess we'll know pretty quick if we're not there anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I did a check beforehand. I was like, all right, do I have internet? Yeah, I got internet. All right, guess we do this until I can't. It's one of those that it's kind of out of my control. So anyways, Tammy's here. Marvin Overstreet stopping by and saying hello. What's going on, Marvin? Miss Maxine, good to see you. Dave Hunt cheering. Pretty sure I thought I saw him, but maybe I didn't.
You did, yep.
And where's he at? On track. Is he on track?
No, I thought you were
Okay.
talking about in chat. No, he's
No.
not on track, but he is cheering on his teammates in chat,
okay.
though.
And then we got Alan Fritsch here. What's going on, Alan? Miss Morrow, good to see you. Thank you very much, guys, for saying hello. Hope you all cheer often for your favorite driver. I will be cheering for my favorite driver. Unfortunately, that driver is not here tonight in this race or in this league. It's me.
Oh, well.
I got jokes.
You do, that's true, yeah.
Brian Hicks here. How you doing, Brian? Glad to have you guys. Brian's got the spirit. So does Alan. A lot of people hitting that caps lock, getting loud for their broadcast, watching, cheering, whatever. They're getting loud. That's what I want to see.
When you're at a racetrack, you should be loud. That's the point. You say that every week, and it's true. And it's not any less true this week.
Each and every time I go to a racetrack, I usually have to shout pretty loud to be heard. Alan wants to break out dad jokes. We're only on lap 8.
I think it's a little early for dad jokes. I don't think we've reached that point in the night quite yet.
That's what she said.
Uh-oh.
Okay, fine. We'll wait. A little bit. You gotta let it build. You gotta let those dad jokes build up a little bit.
Yeah, just a little.
All right, so the front row of this restart going to be the 44 of Anthony English and the 027 of Steve Karosik, then the 04 of Mark Mann and the 7 of Josh Milam. Row 3 going to be Jeff Crosby Jr. and Sean Stevens. Here we go. First restart of the night. Our first caution done and over with. The Chevy Silverado drops out of the way, and Anthony English sets his nose to the wind. But the 7 of Milam gives a huge shot to the back bumper of the 027, and they are really getting a good run off into turn number 1.
Yeah, and Milam has kind of pulled his way through the field just a little bit. He started 14th. He's already inside the top 4. Our winner from iRacing Super Speedway a little bit earlier on in the season. That has been a few weeks. It's actually been a few weeks since we've seen Josh Milam, but not missing a beat. And that black and red number 7 there on the outside he's already up to second on the outside row. A couple of guys actually have kind of clawed their way through the field already. Sean Stevens is 6th. He started 22nd. Sean McCara started 27th. He's up inside the top 10 in 8th position. Alex Green's up to about 12th, maybe 11th now as he works his way past Zach Workman and Tyler Miller. He started 28th position tonight, so some guys making some gains early, making their way to the front, making their presence felt. Well, really, a guy who's really making his presence felt is Steve Karosik. He leads lap number 9 as lap 10 goes on the board in that 027, which, I don't know about you, but that's a little bit different look on the 027 this week.
That it is. It's got the KTM Red Bull paint scheme. And it is looking very fast here. So a little bit of a tribute to a teammate that is no longer out here.
I think that's about all we need to say about that as he goes middle to bottom across the nose of Anthony English, so he controls the lead. Now Casey Gilchrist and Zach Workman, how about them? They're a little further back. They are the first to test the third line on this second run. I don't know. I just watched those guys wreck in front of me. I'm not sure if I would do that, but they're going to try it anyway. No surprise. Zach Workman, he wants to go to the front, and luckily Casey Gilchrist bit. He will go with him a little further up. Great view here from Les Levy's truck, I believe, the Maker's Mark 62. Good view up through the field. As we're wrecking up ahead, it's Josh Milam. He just got turned right in front of the entire field. Oh,
and
boy.
Les checked up and got a shot to the back bumper as well. And caution number 2 comes flying out. And back under yellow we go. The 2 very quick cautions here. Try and back this up. Figure out where it happened. That one looked, I won't say it was the front row this time, but it looked pretty close.
Well,
row 2.
It was
row
yeah.
2 and collected a front row.
Of course, I just happened to be looking up at our onboard we were looking at of Les Levy, and I just happened to see it out of his windshield about the same time he did. But I had missed that one. It's Anthony English drifts up a little bit in turn 1. He hits a bump and then catches the left front of Sean Stevens, who was pushing Josh Milam, and it's a chain reaction, and all of a sudden the infield in turn 1 is a junkyard. There are some heavily damaged trucks down there.
They for sure junked a few of them in this one. Let's take another look at this here. The 44 of Anthony English.
Oh, yeah.
And then everyone behind them, even trying to check up, everyone coming into this with a full head of steam. I am glad I am not the car owners.
No, and there's some guys that are in this one that were in the first incident, so boy, 11 laps into a 100 lap event. This is not what you want to see. Oh boy. It's just, there's not a lot you can do. I think we're looking on board with Logan Helton here in the 63. It certainly looks like his truck. That's last week's winner. It's our back-to-back repeat winner that has not had the ideal start tonight. So the quest for a third straight win is not off to a good start for Logan Helton.
No, that's a tough break for the driver of the 63. All right, so with that being said, most of the field came down pit road, but it looks like the top 9 trucks have stayed out. Zach Workman, first one off of pit road, or I'm sorry, Steve Karosik, then Zach Workman. 2 tires, 4 tires, a lot of different strategies being played here. And the guys who stayed out, they're going to have to, well, we're going to find out. With them staying out, I think that means that they believe they have enough fuel to get to the end of this. And we said it, we expect about 20 laps. Well, yeah, should have had enough fuel a while ago.
Yeah, they came into pit, I think on lap 6, most of these guys did, and like I said, and it actually works out pretty well of who decided to stay out and go for stage points. I mean, it's guys that maybe haven't won, but that are pretty solid in points. I'm talking guys like Kody Neagles in the 6. No surprise he stays out to just try to get some points, as he, I believe, going into this week is our points leader. He overtook Sebastian Marin after last week's event. So no surprise, guys like him, Mark Mann. I'm looking a little further back to see who all stayed out here. No surprise for those two. Zach Fritz, same thing. Just no surprise. Those guys have staked their claim. They said, we're going to go get stage points and maybe suffer a little bit when it comes to winning the race. But for guys like that, points matter. And the win, depending on how many winners we get, may not. So, interesting decisions.
I expect the lights to go out on the pace truck this time. Gonna cycle around one more time, and when we do come to the stage, Dawson, it's up to us to try and call it until we get official word. We may not get official word till caution comes out.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. We'll just have to look at our scoring loop when they cross the start-finish line. Luckily, that is when iRacing updates its scoring every lap, at least on my end. So I will have an accurate representation of who our stage top 10 is, so long as it ends under green. Even within the last 5 laps of a stage, if a caution does come out, it is still going to be the end of the stage. So we'll see if that happens. We're on a good path to see that right now, so it may not matter that we're not throwing a stage caution, but alas, we will try to get a decent enough look at who our stage winner and our stage point getters are, depending on how these next 10 or 11 laps go.
All right, so as they make their way down the back stretch, Anthony English, the only truck not on the lead lap. So he has fallen behind in this incident. You know, you mentioned it. He was caught up in the first one as well, so a lot of damage to be repaired on that truck. Several other drivers have spent quite a bit of time on pit road as well, trying not to burn that fast repair here in the first stage.
Yeah, and I think several guys already have. English, for sure, after that incident, has used his fast repair. He's just come off the pit lane out behind the field, so some work to do for the driver of the 44. So the strategy of deciding to run up front, changing his mind a little bit from what he normally does not pay off for him at all. And it's certainly not the start he wanted, not the start a lot of guys wanted. And we got some damaged trucks at the front, too. Mark Mann and Jeff Crosby Jr. both have damage that I can see from here, so we'll see if that affects them on this restart.
All right, the Chevy Silverado going to pull out of the way. Casey Gilchrist and Mark Mann lead this field to the green flag, and away we go. We get this one back underway. 2 cautions here in the opening stage. And now we try and settle in and get to our first non-caution stage and see how that plays out.
Well, it's going to play out pretty well for the guys up front that decided to stay out so long as they can keep their track position, because, I mean, this is why they stayed out. They said, we're going to stake our claim. We want stage points. And like I said, no surprise, some of the guys that decided to do it. The guys behind them, though, that they gave up track position to come in and pit, they're not going to be willing to wait around. First guy to move, Steve Karosik to the third line against the wall. Not a lot of help, though. Milam doesn't go with him, so Karosik's going to have to fade in line. Well, maybe not. He may just stay up there. In fact, that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to try to utilize the side draft, and he actually has made it work. Look at this solo run by Karosik. He's 2 rows from the lead, headed back to 1.
Yeah, he was getting some help from the 2 as it moved to the outside a little bit. That pulled him along, but now that he's gotten up there, the 6 of Kody Neagles has no interest in wiggling up there, so that run stalled out a little bit, but now Zach Workman got to his back bumper and now had a 3rd truck. So 3 trucks really going to push that 027 to the race lead.
Well, it was 3 trucks. Karosik bails on the top line, drops down in front of Kody Neagles just to take the race lead. So an opportunistic move. Steve Karosik, what a run back to the front for him after he decided to pit and lose his track position. So he's right back where he started race. He's gonna lead as we put lap number 17 on the board. 9 laps to go in stage number 1. As Karosik controls the middle, but Workman a nice run to the outside with the help of Gabe Butler. A little further back, Richard Sanchez is trying the top line. Not sure how far he's going to get, but he's certainly trying. And Hunter Reynolds is making his way back up. Here comes Sanchez to the 8 of those 2 on the top as we exit turn number 2.
4 drivers peeled off for pit road. That's Peter DeBorgia, Travis Elliott, Kevin Fries, and Eric Laurie all hit pit lane that time. So they playing a bit of a long game here.
Yeah, they did, and it's smart because now they're going to flip-flop the track position once we hit this stage break because a lot of these guys at the front are going to have to probably pit. Wow, what a move by Kody Neagles. I hate to interrupt myself, but boy, he goes bottom to middle to block the 0-2-7. It's a battle for the lead up front, Workman versus Neagles as they try to bring Nate Warren along. Not going to work out. He's going to be 3 wide a little further back. Karosik turns left. Oh boy, that help didn't last long for Neagles. He's in the sucker hole in the middle waiting for Josh Milam. And Karosik jumps right back in front of Neagles. So, okay, a little bit of a dogfight for the lead early. Not surprising out of these 2. But no, it's going to work for those guys that just came to pit road. I think you're going to see them flip the track position when we get a little later in the run. And these guys up front have to all pit because, especially the guys leading the race right now, it's only going to be about another 10 laps before they have to hit pit road.
So as the 40 of Peter DeBorgia tries to outrun going a lap down, take a look at who our Team Bootnaka Esports drivers are. As they did come down pit road as a team, Peter DeBorgia, Kevin Fries, Travis Elliott, and Eric Laurie. So they got to outrun. They got to outrun Bad Luck and the rest of the field.
Have all of their team trucks as Gabe Butler's actually up here at the front, actually just dropped across the nose of Josh Milam in the middle line to take position number 2. So not even a full team strategy. It's an interesting decision, but I think it's going to be a good one later on in the race. We'll have to see if it pans out. Oh, Steve Karosik, big moment as he and Gabe Butler got together. They are 4 wide, a little further back. Neagles is going to go to the slide.
And into the wall they go.
In front of Sanchez, and away we go again.
Andy Brigante, the last one to smack the outside wall. And he gets it rolling. The caution flag coming out, our 3rd yellow of the night. Let's go off the nose of the 13, and you can see already there's trouble ahead. And Brigante just along for the ride in that moment.
Yeah, he had some help. Looked like, boy, I'm not sure how the 0-2-7 of Karosik or the 6 of Neagles kept this going. I mean, wow, incredible saves by those 2. It's going to gain both of them stage points. I think I'll have to double check where Kody is on the racetrack, but yeah, he's P6, so it might have just won them stage points, but incredible car control by those 2 up front.
Man, that 6 is slicing through the grass, trying to do all he can to hold on to it. Does a great job. Unfortunately, Nate Warren, Josh Milam, these guys getting turned, getting a little bit of damage throughout all of it. Off the nose of the 6 here. Wow. Quite a few good moves there to minimize the damage for some of these trucks.
Oh yeah, and it saved a wreck too, because if Neagles had slid back to the right, he was going to collect several trucks that were running right in the middle of the pack right there. But luckily for them, he did keep it straight. And yeah, Zach Fritsch probably had the best and worst view of that, depending on if you ask him or not. Nobody, some takers on pit road. This is really interesting, KR, because they're going to lose some stage points right here.
right, they hit pit road. And as far as I know, we are. I don't know. I don't know if that was going to be counted as a stage. I don't think so. I think they're going to have a one-lap shootout to the end of the stage.
It's going to be 2. I think we're going to go back green on lap 24. So it's kind of weird. We're in that weird situation where it's going to be a 2-lap dash, in air quotes, for the stage win, but it's not technically a 2-lap run. We're just going to keep going after the stage end, but it will be 2 full laps. The stage will end, and then we'll technically be into stage 2. So it's going to be weird to watch, but we're going to get through it together because this is new for us too.
Hey, how would you like to be on the track trying to make that decision?
Oh no, I say every week I'd rather be up here than down there, and especially this week because boy, the decision gets even harder than when we do have a caution, when whether or not I pit early, go for stage points, or don't pit. And like a guy like Kody Neagles, for example, he's going to be restarting 7th, but he's only going to be able to go about 5 laps past the stage or so, maybe not even that far, and then he'll have to pit, and then he's going to have to question, well, how many trucks are going to come with me? Because a lot of the guys further back are going to be able to go about 10 laps longer than him. This is going to get really interesting. I've been waiting for a strategy race like this for a long time, and luckily tonight, taking away stage cautions, it's going to make these guys scramble a bit on strategy.
I still don't know what I'd want to do here. I guess if you're at the back, why not? Why not pit, you know? You're at the front, better hold on.
Yeah. I think it just kind of depends on what your goal for the race is. For a guy like Kody Neagles, as much as he would like to win and make his way into the playoffs, even if we do get 12, 13 different winners, so we're not going to have 13 because Logan Helton obviously was a repeat winner, but even if we get 12 winners, as long as he's still the points leader, he's going to make the playoffs. So for a guy like that, he's not a guy that really needs a win per se, as long as he can keep up his success, and stage points certainly help that. Is coming into tonight, he had something like 71 stage points or total bonus points between stage points leading a lap and things like that. So yeah, I mean, for a guy like him, it makes a lot of sense to stay out, try to get the extra few points at the end of the stage, and maybe he doesn't win the race, but at the end of the night, he gets a huge amount of bonus points out of it.
We're taking a look at our points as they come into tonight's race. Kody Neagles is our points leader despite not having a win yet. So that means he is just putting together some very solid runs and getting himself, those stage points and being in the right place at the right time. When you have, 76 bonus points, the next closest person on bonus points is 59. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, and it's a huge reason for his success, like I was talking about. No surprise a guy like him is going to go for stage points right here, but a guy a little further back, say, let me just pull one out of here. Mark Mann would be a good example of a guy that maybe is going to run a little further back, pit a little later, ignore the stage, but when it comes around to the last lap, he's going to be in contention for the win, because that's the kind of mindset I think he's going to have. So it's going to be really interesting to watch these two strategies play out. 2 laps to go for the stage win.
All right, here we go. The Chevy Silverado going to get out of the way. And we're going to fire them off one more time as into the restart zone they go. And the green flag is out. Zach Workman and Gabe Butler try and lead this race into turn number 1.
Butler, that was a weird, almost a late shift. He kind of backed up on the 26, and Hunter Reynolds did not expect him to back up at all. That was a very odd moment. But alas, they get going regardless. Top line is really connected now. Butler, Reynolds, Vicente Guerrero, who actually is the Saturday night winner from this racetrack. He's our most recent OP winner from this racetrack. He got the win on Saturday night with the help of his limitless teammate, Kody Neagles. So interesting to note that Vicente Guerrero has very recent winning experience. No surprise to see him running up front. Meanwhile, all the way at the front, Workman with the help of Karosik, up top, Butler and Reynolds. It's going to be 1 to go in the stage when we hit the line. But remember, we will not stop. They're just going to keep going, but the stage wins on the line, 2.5 miles. See who wins stage 1.
All right, one more time around for a stage win. Mad Dog Racing, how you doing, Mad Dog? Getting ready to end this stage, so you joined at the right time, and they are all digging hard down the back stretch. Zach Workman right now has the advantage.
Yeah, he does, and he's got a ton of help. He can credit this lead to the Karosik and Neagles machines behind him. They are just all over the back bumper of the 19, just trying to get him the stage win. Oh, yeah, Reynolds pops out of line. That's going to give the 19 an advantage. Does Butler have anything for him? Off of turn number 4, they're going to wreck right at the stage end. Oh, how did Butler keep it going?
Yet.
3 wide, a scramble for the stage win. Workman wins the stage. It was almost chaos for the scoring booth there right at the end.
Wow, big moment there, big wiggle out of those race cars, race trucks. Somehow they all managed to hold on to it.
Yep, and we're going to keep it going. So singling out a little bit up front now after that big bobble. I seriously have no idea how Gabe Butler kept his truck going straight, but he does nonetheless. So I will really quickly try to run down our stage point winners before they get all the way back around. Zach Workman gets the stage win. Karosik is second. Gabe Butler is third. Kody Neagles goes fourth. Zach Fritsch fifth. Alex Green sixth. Richard Kuhn 7th, Hunter Reynolds 8th, Vicente Guerrero 9th, and Jimmy Reynolds 10th. Those are your stage point getters for stage number 1. Here comes Alex Green on the outside. He leads the top line. How about old Alex Green coming up here to the front?
Alex Green is the one I like to call Mr. Excitement, as he tries to make some things happen, and he's always a pleasure to watch. And that red number 3 out in front of the 26 of Hunter Reynolds.
Yeah, good to see him coming up to the front. He's up in front of Hunter Reynolds, Tyler Miller, Peter DeBorgia is in this pack, and be ready here pretty quickly to see the strategy kind of go off cycle, because these guys like Kody Neagles are getting ready to have to make a pit stop, I think, in the next 5 or so laps. So it's going to be really interesting. Karosik jumps up in front of Alex Green. There you go. Gabe Butler's our first taker of the guys that did not pit before. He comes to pit road, and he's all by his lonesome. That's a tough break for the 88.
All right, so Gabe Butler on pit road all by himself. His teammates had pitted earlier. And so with that being said, he has to hit pit road by himself. Good grief. Gabe Butler did not pit with his teammates, and therefore he has had to come down pit road all on his lonesome. There, nailed it, first try.
Yeah, I probably should have mentioned that, because I did talk about how they did not have Gabe Butler when they came to pit road earlier. That's DeBorgia, Laurie, and Kevin Freeze. Some more takers now. Alex Green, Karosik, Neagles, Fritsch, and Vicente Guerrero on pit road, this time by the rest of those guys that did not pit in order to get stage points under that last caution.
Race lead going to be given to the 26 of Hunter Reynolds, with David Booth in the 77 on the outside. 2 blue trucks, almost the same blue too, out in front.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off until I saw the pink trim on the back of the 26. I almost got it mixed up looking up at my other monitor here. There is a second pack, actually, that's a little ways back of this lead pack. Sean Stevens, Josh Milam, Martin Mann, Eric Laurie, Jeff Crosby Jr., Adam Kilday, Matt Wagner, Logan Helton, and Anthony English. That's where he finds himself. Some more takers, as it looks like the Reynolds boys, Jimmy and Hunter, and there was one other truck I did not catch. The strategies, they are way all over the place right now. Lap 29 on the board.
Yeah, strategies being all over the place. This is the first time through without having a caution for a stage end. So now you have to figure out what your strategy is to get to the next stage. Are you still going to go after some points, or do you want to just try and let this field stay spread out and hope that when it comes back around, you're caught up to the field and on the right track?
Oh, and even beyond stage 2, as Peter DeBorgia is going to go to the race lead here with the help of his teammate Travis Elliott. But even beyond stage 2, if this continues to fan out and we see several individual packs, you got to start thinking about a fuel mileage race. And we really haven't had to think about that yet, where we're at this point, if you pit now, you're in about a, let's see, probably about a 3-stop race from here, judging on 20 laps being a run. I think they can go a little further than 20. But either way, it's going to be about a 3-stop race from here if you pit right now. If these guys up front can stretch it, they could try to make it in a 2-stop race after this next stop. It's so interesting. There's a lot of number crunching going on right now at the front of the field, I can tell you that much.
A lot of number crunching while trying to drive. Some of these guys don't have any extra crew chiefs in their ear. Now you got your teammates who you talked with and had a game plan. Everyone has a game plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Well, yeah, and certainly the early cautions have probably thrown off the game plan of certain teams. It did not throw off Team Bootnaga Esports, who clearly had a plan going into this race on what they wanted to do. At least the 3 trucks we've already touched on, as Richard Sanchez drops across the nose of Peter DeBorgia. He's going to lead the race for now in this group that is singled out at the front. And several teams have plans, it sure looks like. I mean, you can tell who's working with who, but their laps are so different. Here we go. Pit stops again. Tyler Miller, Zach Workman, and oh boy, one in trouble. Big trouble. David Booth below the apron. Let's see if this brings out a caution. As Overstreet's going to spin back out towards the racing surface. Still no caution. Still no caution as David Booth sits idle up against the pit wall. And what a tough break as guys continue to hit pit road. We're going to keep this green.
The green flag stays out, and that gives the race lead to the Richard Sanchez machine. That 510 out in front with the 40 of Peter DeBorgia on his back bumper. So with everything happening and with this staying green, well, I'll tell you, David Overstreet, his back bumper was over the yellow line, but everyone decided we were going to stay green, so we do.
Very interesting decision considering some of the quick triggers we've seen on Monday nights for cautions this season. Just kind of odd that we just decided to keep it green. I was waiting to see the caution flag. We don't get one as the leaders are going to bypass Alex Green and Gabe Butler. They're going to put those two, I believe, only 1 lap down. And yes, it will be the first lap down for those 2 trucks in 31st and 32nd. Anthony English, Bubba Winningham, and obviously David Booth are also a lap down. So Anthony's gotten one of his back, but still some work to do for the 44, and this is about worst case scenario for him if it turns into a fuel strategy race, because I mean it's going to be virtually impossible for him to get back on the lead lap.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about impossible to get back on the lead lap, but going to have some help from cautions for sure.
I said virtually impossible. It's not fully impossible. I've definitely seen some crazier things. Here come the Team Bootnaga trucks as well as Richard Sanchez, so them staying out allows them to lead a few laps, and now they make their pit stop on lap number 35 as they cross the line. That's going to hand the race lead to Sean McCara, actually, as they run. He's tagged on to the back of Gabe Butler and Alex Green. The leaders, once we cycle, is going to start with, I think, Adam Kilday in the 85, who they are about 5 seconds back, but it's not all lead lap trucks. This is really weird. So they're running with Anthony English. They've also got Bubba Winningham. Those are 2 lap down trucks, but they will maintain the lead. It's going to go to McCara for now, but after that, it'll be Kilday, Sean Stevens, Jeff Crosby Jr., and Matt Wagner inheriting the race lead.
All right, so we are on board with Peter DeBorgia in the 34, looking at the back bumper as here comes Nate Warren with a full head of steam. And Nate Warren gonna shoot on by Stephen Miles in the 32. Looks like maybe he will inherit the lead.
Some more trucks coming to pit road of note. It's the Reynolds boys again, along with Zach Fritsch. Very odd. We just saw the Reynolds, both Reynolds guys on pit road about 10 laps ago or so. So an interesting decision. I don't know. There's got to be some reasoning behind it. I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't think it would be penalties to all three drivers, though.
Oh, 2 tire stops. They're down and away.
That's very interesting. Well, it's going to be interesting if we get to talk to him later to see what went into that, but you're going to be looking at the cycle, the leaders after the cycle, I think. Don't quote me on that because we still have some cycling to go. Sean McCara still, I believe, has yet to make his pit stop. Same with Kilday, Crosby, Wagner, and Stevens. I don't think they've come to pit road here on this cycle of pit stops. So you're looking at what could potentially be the lead group, but still, the verdict is very much out as we wait for the top 5 to make their pit stops.
Top 5 being Sean McCara, Adam Kilday, Jeff Crosby Sr., Matt Wagner, and Sean Stevens. And these guys are going to come down pit road. Is anyone's guess? They were last on pit road on lap 21-22. '77 of David Booth at the back end of this group. Booth, one of the drivers who was turned around on that pit road entry.
Trouble. It's Stephen Miles. He's around on the front straightaway, and DeBorgia is in it. They were racing for the lead, and Miles got hooked across the field, and he's now going to come to a stop on the apron on the front straightaway. Oh, boy. And that's going to throw this cycle all out of whack, and what a huge break for McCara, Kilday, Crosby, Wagner, and Stevens, as Stephen Miles gets the brunt of that one right at the start-finish line.
Let's take a look here. The 8, the 027, making contact. The 40 gets collected. Steve Karosik right there as well, and round goes the 8. The caution flag out. John McCara in the 71, our race leader. And it was Workman who won the stage, correct?
Yes, Zach Workman is the Stage 1 winner, at least on my scoring at the end of lap number 25.
All right, well, we will talk with Workman after pit stops. So we'll let them come down pit road, and we'll see what he has to say. Sean McCara going to lead the field on the pit road, and I don't think we'll see everyone on pit lane.
Nope, I think it's going to be split, and I think the guys that are a lap down, like the, let's see, Jimmy Reynolds, Hunter Reynolds, Zach Fritsch, Richard Sanchez. We did see Anthony English, which is odd, but Milam and the Reynolds trucks have stayed out. Milam actually is going to get your free pass. Both Reynolds trucks are out, as well as David Booth and Zach Fritsch. Those are the trucks I'm seeing that stayed out in front of the race leaders.
All right, let's get a word in with the driver of the 19, our stage winner from Fuel Sim Racing. That is none other than Zach Workman. Zach, you got your ears on, bud?
I do.
All right, man. Well, nice job on winning the stage. It took a moment for us to get to talk to you. So if you can remember, tell us how you did it.
I don't know. I went 3 wide early and saw Steve was going up there. Well, first it was Logan, and then me and Steve kind of climbed our way through. Steve's someone I can trust, so I just followed him to go take us 3 wide. Also, Gabe was up there 3 wide with us as well, so I knew we had a pretty good line. Then just kind of got in front. There's a wreck behind at like lap 20, and I just stick to that bottom, and then they got squirrely behind me, and I got the stage. So definitely weird with the new stage cautions. I'm not really sure like what I do, and like with pit strategies and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's like a learning experience, definitely.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out strategies all throughout, and it seems like nobody has a set plan just yet, and everyone's trying to fly by wire.
Pretty much it. Like I knew on the last stop that me and Tyler were leading on the best fuel strategy. Peter, Kevin, and Bootknocker and Travis was like a couple laps after us, so I knew that we had to stay in front of him with the fuel strategy. But I don't know, we'll see how the stage goes. I got Tyler next to me, and we'll see if we can take this stage 1 too.
All right, man. Well, congratulations on the stage 1. You're looking good for stage 2. Shout outs, thank yous you'd like to give?
First stage, gotta thank Steve and Gabe for pushing in the 3 wide. They're gonna thank FSR. You know, we got our full team for like one of the few times we've had this year. Then gotta thank all the admins, OP, my parents for always watching, and you guys watching in the booth. I know we've had a few cautions so far, but hopefully we clean up towards the end.
All right, man. Well, nice job, and once again, congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, there you have it. That is Zach Workman. We move him back down his team. I hope I clicked the right button. If not, he'll figure it out.
You did hit the right button, so good news there. I had to double check, but you did hit the right button, so hey, there you go.
Perfect. All right, so Zach Workman going to lead this field to the green flag as I hit all the wrong buttons. That's what I'm here for. Hit all the wrong buttons.
I mean, you know, they like to spice it up sometimes, I think.
Right? If I hit the right buttons, what good would that do?
It's too easy. Yeah, it's too easy. You gotta give yourself a challenge.
Right? All right, so the Ford Silverado gonna peel off, hits pit road. Zach Workman, Peter DeBorgia already knows the tail, trying to get a good restart here as we get close to the end of stage number 2, and they are crashing behind them. Yellow flag coming out.
Oh boy, stack up on the restart. It's typical at super speedways. You see it happen sometimes. It strikes tonight, and I only caught the tail end of that one, so looked like several trucks. This is a multi-truck incident, which is really odd. Usually it's only 1 or 2 guys, but boy.
Alex Green involved, the 11 involved. Matt Wagner go off the nose. Casey Gilchrist gets caught up into it, sandwiched into the wall. Two very separate incidents at the exact same time. 2 very similar incidents in separate spots of the track at the exact same time.
If the exact same wreck just mirrored in 2 different places, that's really odd. Neither lane went, and I guess both lines decided they wanted to wreck. And oh man, it's a tough break for several guys, notably Bubba Winningham, who I think was going to get the free pass if a caution came out. So that's a tough break to see for him. Now, though, it is decision time. I mean, if you're a guy that maybe it's a little further back, if you pit here, you just, you know, I'm going to give up on stage points. It's the same thing we saw in stage 1. Hey, do you want to give up on stage points, but maybe be in a better spot for the strategy for the end of the race? From here, it's for sure a 2-stop race. So if you just want to go ahead and make that pit stop and try to undercut the field, it's a good opportunity to do so. I think we're going to see a very split strategy again as these guys make their way off turn 4. It doesn't look like many of the front trucks are going to make the left turn on the pit road.
It helps if I hit the live button.
Maybe slightly.
Just saying.
Wow, just as I said, some takers further back. Stephen Miles, Casey Gilchrist, Anthony English, Richard Sanchez, Josh Milam, Nate Warren, and Jimmy and Hunter Reynolds. Zach Fritsch is on pit road. Obviously, Alex Green, John Guerra, Bubba Winningham, Richard Kuhn. They were all involved in the incident. Some guys further back, though, on the lead lap have decided to stake their claim. They're going to make their pit stops now, and and bail on stage 2 points. So we'll see how it pans out for him.
All right, so Zach Workman staying true to his strategy of trying to win, and got me out front to do that, so he looks in a good position.
Yeah, it does help to be the leader if you want to go get more stage points, like we heard him say to us just a second ago. And really no surprises up front. I mean, guys that are high in points that maybe haven't won, but that are looking to get some extra points. Kody Neagles, again, is the guy I'm going to go to as our points leader, running in 8th position. A few winners up here, though, which is kind of interesting. Kevin Freeze in 5th, as well as Jeff Crosby Sr. in the 9th position. So interesting to see potential repeat winners go for stage points. This is against what I said earlier, which of course they proved me wrong because they always do. But they're gonna try to go for some stage points here at the end of stage number 2 and get their points position a little bit better.
This stage is going to end at the completion of lap 50. We're going to see how this plays out. The first time we did this, we had a caution right before the stage. And so with that being said, will that happen? Will this be our final caution before we get to the end of the stage, or will we have another? I don't know. I will say it's close enough. If we get another caution, I think that will be the stage at this point.
Yeah, we are going to be inside 5 laps to go in stage number 2. So if a caution comes out, that rule has not changed. It's still going to end stage 2 if we do get a yellow flag anytime between now and we go back green and the completion of lap 50. So no changes there. I kind of, personally, I mean, if I could be a little bit selfish on behalf of these drivers, I kind of hope it just goes green, because the strategy we saw towards the end of stage 1, beginning of stage 2 was just some of the, I think, some of the most fascinating racing we've had all season.
I think so as well. This is for sure changing up the strategy, changing up the feel of the race. And, you know, with that being said, it's still, there's still no perfect call yet. No one's quite figured out everything.
Well, and if they have, then certainly we have not. So we'll have to see as we go on if we can figure out who's going to have the race-winning strategy. I don't know. It's so wide open. Cautions could still come out, obviously, as we saw during that last green flag run with the Stephen Karosik, Stephen Miles incident. So not even spreading the field out can keep a caution from coming out. It's going to make it really interesting later on, especially if that happens. Say that happens with 5 or 10 to go. Sean McCarra, Jeff Crosby Sr., guys like that, they were just kind of staying out running long. They had made their bed, but if it comes out with 10 to go and it's the same situation, oh boy, that could make this really, really interesting and potentially give us a new winner again tonight. So we'll see. Lap 46 going on the board, 5 to go in stage number 2. Coming back to the green flag.
All right, here we go. The Silverado going to pull out onto pit road. Pull out of the way and get onto pit road. As the green flag comes out, Zach Workman into the field to the green flag. Should we get a caution before the completion of lap 50, that will be the stage. Otherwise, we will stay green. Man, I'll tell you, it's hard to wrap your head around what the right strategy call is right now. I do think Zach Workman has it figured out, though, because he won stage 1 and he is in position for stage 2.
Yeah, but there's some guys behind him that have something to say about that, and the first one to go get him is Tyler Miller in the 24, who rockets to the lead halfway down the back straightaway. Meanwhile, further back, Andy Brigante jumps up in front of Les Levy, Gabe Butler, and Steve Karosik. They are the first to try the third lane here with just under 5 to go in the stage. They're going to try to go for some stage points. That's a really tight battle back there around Levy, Guerrero, Kilday. They're the first row 3 wide. 4 to go in stage number 1, or excuse me, stage number 2. Wow. As Tyler Miller leads with the help of Kevin Freeze. Notably, Kevin does have 2 teammates behind him. So interesting. Tyler Miller decides to go with the Bootnaka Esports trucks instead of his teammate Zach Workman. So They're going to actually control the lanes here as Brigante. I can't decide if Andy wants to go 3 wide. I don't think he can either. He's bounced between the middle and the top. The top's just not going, I think. And he's just going to fade in line. Oh, now they're going to take him 3 wide as Les Levy's making his charge to the front in 3. And right
trouble.
as they say that, we wreck. That's
Big time trouble. The 51 of Travis Elliott involved. The 15 of Jeff Crosby Sr., Alex Green. A bumper doing its best to make it to pit road. It stops just a little bit short. The yellow flag coming out. And that is going to be the stage. And it looks like maybe Zach Workman was out in front when that yellow flag came out.
Yeah, let's see. We'll have to see if we can get a decent look at our stage point getters. This is where scoring's not really going to help because, as my understanding, that we are going to go by moment of caution, since a caution will end the stage. So we'll try to get official word on that. This was up at the front of the field. Travis Elliott was behind his teammates all of a sudden. I couldn't tell who the first one to get around was. Here we go. I'll get a pretty good look at it here as I look up top. It's Andy Brigante and Jeff Crosby Sr. Travis Elliott, oh man, they piling big time behind those guys. Actually, they're wrecking a little further back. I think that's Jimmy Reynolds in the 17. Alex Green is in it as well as David Booth, I believe. I think that's David Booth's blue and red 77, a little further back.
Several hard hits right there.
Yeah, and the wreck included Steve Karosik, who I didn't see the first time. That's another incident tonight for the 027 that he just really couldn't do anything about. He just kind of got caught behind those guys, and he got a pretty good piece of the wall. So,
all right, who did we say won stage 2 then?
I'm trying to double check it myself. Scored first at the line was, looks like Workman led him on to pit road. So it is Zach Workman again in the 19, I believe.
All right. That's 2 for 2. I think he's got something figured out.
I'd say so.
All right, well, I talked to him last time. I'm going to let you talk to him this time.
All right, sounds good.
All right, let me find him. There he is. Let me go here and take it away, Dawson.
Yeah, I've caught up with I believe our stage 2 winner, Mr. Zach Workman. It's the boys in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you guys. It's like I just talked to you like 7 laps ago.
Yeah, well, we were a little bit late getting to you because of the timing of the caution, but lucky for you, this one comes out just about 10 laps later. So you get it done stage 2. You're 2 for 2 tonight. You swept both stages. I would say, how did you do it? But you only ran 10 laps and you led the whole time. So, I mean, I can't imagine it was much different, but kind of take us through your mindset there at the end of stage 2.
Well, I was kind of hoping for a caution, to be honest, because I pitted on 33, so I knew I was going to make it much past the stage, but I kind of made that bet in the stage points and stuff. So, yeah, it helped out. Tyler, P2, so good job for the FSR boys up here. Zach Fritch a lap down, but we don't talk about that. But, yeah, it's just it's been a good run so far. Hopefully I can keep it up with the top 10 or top 5 or even a win. The last 2 weeks have been super rough, so we need some good positive momentum.
Yeah, certainly a good start there as you guys go 1-2 in the stage. So kind of take us through it. I don't know how much you want to give us up here in the booth, but kind of take us through what's the strategy for FSR, and guys on your strategy, kind of take us through what are the next pit stops going to look like for you guys, and when are those going to happen?
Well, I don't know. Probably when we run out of gas, I'm going to be honest. I know Zach's had some damage. Josh is on a hurt truck. I don't know about Jeff. Jeff's just Jeff. But I know me and Tyler got clean trucks, so I don't know. We'll see. But I think we'll probably just run it out here, and then we're going to look at our fuel calculators and be like, ooh, when can we pit? Because we're not smart enough to actually, like, do some real fuel strategy at FSR. We're not good at math. We're not even good at quick math, so we have people tell us.
All right, well, fair enough. We'll be watching for that. About to get back going. We're doubled up behind the pace truck really quickly. Any other shout-outs, thank yous you want to give that you maybe didn't give the first time?
I gotta thank Sean McCara and his mom, because I love his mom, Tara. It was her birthday a couple weeks ago, so happy 51st birthday.
All right, well, congrats on that stage win. We'll let you get back to work here for the last half of this race, and we'll see if we're talking to you at the end.
10-4, see you guys.
All right, there you have it. That is Zach Workman. Let's put him in just a random spot. Make him figure it out.
It certainly doesn't make it any easier to look at his fuel calculator. That was certainly...
Right?
I mean,
here to help.
Maybe we're giving them too much credit up here for having to do math in the truck. Doesn't sound like the FSR boys are doing much math at all.
I'll tell you what, you only need to have the last pit stop figured out. All the others are just getting to the last pit stop.
Well, either way, I guess that's exactly what they're going to do. I was hoping we'd get a little bit more of an interesting tidbit of strategy from Zach Workman, but no, when we run out of gas is the best answer we're going to get. Anyway, going back green, halfway at the line, Hunter Reynolds leads the race as he stays out under our stage caution. And the strategy flips yet again. So Reynolds, Fritsch, Warren, Neagles, and McCara, your new top 5 headed to turn number 1.
All right, so no more stages or stage points to hand out. Zach Workman coming away with a cool 20 points so far. He has got the clear advantage in stage points for this race. Right now, he does have a little bit of work to make his way to the front of the field, but Zach Fritsch, Kody Neagles, and Hunter Reynolds all out in front. Fritsch and Neagles in the outside, Hunter Reynolds on the inside. And so, with that being said, Dawson, we just went through our first 2 stages with no official cautions coming out for them. One of them had a caution right before it. One of them had a caution that was the stage. So, not a good judge. But I think everyone was playing the strategies very differently here tonight.
Oh, it's certainly added an element that we have not seen yet this season that these guys have to think about. There's no more guaranteed, well, all right, the whole field's going to pit about halfway into the stage, and then we're just going to all kind of just beat and bang and go for the stage points. Now, we're going to have different strategies, and we've seen it already tonight with guys that maybe decided not to get stage points, maybe guys that did, that are going to be on completely different strategies. I have certainly enjoyed the change. I don't know if the drivers have, but well, I can tell you one guy that has, and that's Zach Workman, who swept our first 2 stages of the new rule, but his teammates are enjoying it right now. FSR 1, 2, 3 as Fritsch and Crosby go to the lead at the start-finish line.
Trying to go 3 wide is 027 with Steve Kurosik. Right now he doesn't have any help, but he is hanging tough in that 3rd lane. It's like maybe going to get some help. Not a firm commitment there. So the 027 all by himself still.
Yeah, he's hanging really tough, though. He's kind of stayed even with no help on the outside. That was weird. Richard Kuhn, oh boy, I thought he was going to come up. Now Kurosik dives in front of Vicente Guerrero, so he's found his spot in the 2nd line for the time being. Logan Helton, here he comes, up to the top. He's about 6 rows back, up against the wall. Let's see if Kurosik goes up to pick him up. And let's see if these guys go to the front. Nope. Helton drops right back in line. Logan Helton trying to go back to back to back this week at Daytona after winning our last 2 races. Certainly would be quite the achievement after we hadn't had a repeat winner.
Yeah, Logan Helton being our first repeat winner of the season. We're riding on board with Helton. He's tucked in behind Kurosik. And, you know, one of the things about OP racing is very hard to win a race in OP, let alone doing it 2 weeks in a row. And Logan Helton, one of those guys who seems to be able to get it done almost every season.
Well, yeah, and it's twofold out of Helton tonight. I think number one, once he won his first, he told us in the booth after that race, he said, "No, now that I've got my first, I think they're going to start to come to me." He told us last week it was going to be the Logan Helton summer stretch, I think is what he called it, where he just kind of rattles off some victories one after another in the summer stretch. And the second thing is he's had some success on this specific configuration of Daytona recently. as he won the prestigious Firecracker 400. I'm not sure if you caught that or not, but no surprise to see Helton running up front considering that achievement just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a fun one to watch and very exciting to see how it all came down, especially the last lap. But yeah, maybe we'll get something like that here tonight.
Boy, I hope so, right? I mean, the way this race is playing out, it sure seems that way. And as we get later in the regular season, you're going to see more of that, I think. More desperation, more guys looking for wins, more guys looking for points. We inch closer to the playoffs. Tonight actually marks the halfway point of the regular season, round number 7 tonight out of 13 in our regular season before we set our playoff field. So we get closer and closer to the playoffs. The desperation's just going to continue to ramp up, and you're seeing some of it tonight, I think, in the way these strategies are playing out, especially at the front of the field. A lot of guys up front that have not yet gotten that first win.
Right as the field works its way into the tri-oval. Our 3 wide hanging tough right there with that. Do a little bit of housekeeping. Stephen Miles in the 8. And last truck on the lead lap. First truck 1 lap down. That is the 66 of Bubba Winningham. Then the 44 of Anthony English and Jeff Crosby Sr. are all in a tight battle to be the first truck 1 lap down.
Yeah, a little further back, Matt Wagner's gone 2 laps down. David Overstreet's 5 laps down, and Andy Brigante is 7 laps down. So I know Overstreet and Wagner still running. Brigante is as well. Actually, the leaders are going to bypass him right here on the entry to the tri-oval. Certainly a struggle tonight for Brigante, but wants to stay on track, try to maximize his night. But a heavily damaged 13 truck as he goes yet another lap down. Up front, though, boy, talk about some good racing. 3 by 3 by 3, 3 rows deep. Kevin Freeze wants to make it 4 rows deep. He's up against the wall now, as FSR has company at the front. They were much more comfortable when it was 2 wide. They were 1, 2, 3, but now not so much. As Karosik, Helton, Gilchrist, and Freeze say, hello, we're coming to the party too, invite or not. As Crosby drops across his teammate Fritz, still 3 wide, 4 rows deep in turn number 3.
Oh, and the 33 in trouble. Caution coming out. And we hold on to it. Around goes Sean McCara. He keeps it off the wall, and that was a caution that was thrown very quickly, and I think because of that, it saved any other issues. Wow.
Oh, boy. How we kept it straight right there, I have no idea. Jeff Crosby was pointed at the inside wall in the middle of turns 3 and 4. I mean, he was dead set left, and somehow everyone keeps their truck straight. No harm, no foul, maybe some damage, but not a lot. Sean McCarrick gets turned around in the back there, but wow, what an effort by the guys up front to keep that squared away and not pile up a ton of trucks.
Wow. And the big spin from Sean McCarrick, and he didn't hit anything as he got it slowed down in time. So, yeah, very quick to call that caution. So, I'm sure several drivers are glad that they did, because I'm not sure if that green flag stays out, we make it with as little damage as we had there.
No, we had guys on the apron. We had guys that were up into the wall, and obviously Jeff Crosby. Oh boy, I mean, I gotta imagine he's thankful for that. He was going to lose a ton of positions and a lot of time. He saved the truck, but it could have turned into a much bigger incident. I think you're going to see everybody hit pit road, because from here it's pretty close to a one-stop race. So almost any strategy we had, barring anybody staying out right here, is not going to last, I don't think.
Yeah, you can almost, like I said, we expect 20 laps on fuel. So from here, you get 20 laps, and 20 laps, that's from here, carry the R and square root the negative I. I think, yeah, one more stop.
I think the only interesting strategy question that's going to be left, and we'll have to see if we do get a green flag run long enough to see green flag pit stops, it's going to be, do guys pit late enough that they still have fuel for any green white checkered attempts? Because boy, that could make things interesting. Or if you're able to save here on the first part of the run, when you're in the pack, once you get lined up, you can't save anymore. I mean, hardly. If you really want to make time, you've got to go foot to the floor pretty much when you're in a single file line if you want to make good lap times. So will you be able to save enough in a line that you can make it to the end? There's still some questions, but certainly not the strategy diversity that we got to see early on in the race.
All right, so Steve Karosik finds himself back out in front. This does give us 31 trucks on the lead lap. Jeff Crosby Sr., last truck on the lead lap. Though we are regaining some lost ground as far as in that territory.
Well, I mean, this is what guys like Bubba Winningham and Crosby Sr. and Matt Wagner, that's what they needed. Same with Anthony English, who's back on the lead lap. It's just kind of what they needed. I mean, they needed some cautions to come out. If this had gone green, just no chance for them to get back on the lead lap just because of how the pit stops cycle around. So certainly a help to those guys, especially English, who has had his battles tonight, certainly. But not out of realm of possibility for Anthony English to still maintain a pretty good night out of this.
Andy Brigante, David Overstreet sitting on pit road trying to hammer out some of their damage. They're not quite done getting all the kinks worked out of their body.
Yeah, it's been a battle for those two guys after they got involved in incidents a little bit earlier on. Andy Brigante especially just is having a rough go of it, but he's staying out on the racetrack as guys continue to lose their fast repair. Guys continue to get damaged beyond repair and start to go out of the race here as we get later and later and later. He's thinking he can make up some points, and I don't know. We'll see how it pans out for him, but it might end up being a pretty smart strategy to at least salvage something as we get ready to go back green with 39 laps to go.
Lights are out on that Chevy Silverado. Logan Helton, Steve Karosik on the front row for the restart. The 33 of Jeff Crosby Jr. and the 6 of Kody Neagles for row number 2. Then it's the 31 of Vicente Guerrero and the 31 of Casey Gilchrist, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero. Got ahead of myself just a little bit there. All right, here we go for one more time. Karosik and Helton lead this field to the green flag. The 63 getting that clean air for the first time. That is going to be huge for him.
Yes, he looks to play spoiler once again. I mean, we talked about it last week, how maybe he kind of stole a win at Talladega. He looks to do the same thing tonight. He's been up front every now and then, but hasn't really been a factor until now. So looking to just go out there and steal his 3rd win in a row, which would be quite the streak for him if he can indeed get it done and play some spoiler. Kevin Freese is up here as well, looking to repeat on his win at Daytona to open the season. Other than that, if I'm looking at it correctly, our next potential repeat winner would be all the way back, really, I think outside the top 20. So other than those two guys, a lot of potential for some new winners, some hungry drivers up front, especially these top 3. Karosik, Guerrero, and Neagles now make up the top 3 headed back to turn number 1.
So as we stay side by side, no one jumping 3 wide just yet. And that doesn't mean that someone isn't thinking about doing it.
I mean, the funny part is the two guys I think would do it most quickly are running up front. I mean, it's Karosik in the 027 and Helton in the 63. the next best chance to go 3 wide would come from Zach Workman, who is all the way back in 29th position as they run on the racetrack right now. So I'm surprised, but at the same time, also not really surprised. Alex Green thought about it actually through the trial bowl, I think. He thought about it. He peaked, but no commitment to it yet. But definitely testing the waters up front. On the bottom, Limitless 1-2 there with Guerrero and Neagles. Up top, it's Korosik with the help of Kevin Fries. Whoa, big bobble for Logan Helton on the bottom. That was a big moment. And still 2 wide. Hunter Reynolds actually is going to be the first one to go out of line. Oh, now he ducks back in. 2x2 formation. Josh Milam jumps to his outside, but again, no help for the guys trying 3 wide.
Zach Fritsch still holding on to the fastest lap of this race. He turned that very early on in tonight's event, and nobody has been able to top that 46.93 just yet. We do have Josh Milam up in the 3rd lane and some slicing and dicing from Kevin Fries in the 25, now at the front of the outside lane.
Yeah, Korosik dropped top to bottom in front of Vicente Guerrero on the front straightaway headed into turn number 1. Cut down across that allows Fries to free up some air and jump up to the lead. Actually, he is going to take the point just briefly here in turn number 3. It will go back to Korosik. Big help from Casey Gilchrist. Boy, big props to the 31. He's been up front a lot tonight. Same with the guy behind him. Alex Green, once again, has made his way to the front. Nate Warren has made his presence felt as well. Richard Sanchez a little further back. Same with Eric Laurie. Haven't said his name a ton tonight. And Fries, for the first time really all night, is going to take the point. Batted back into turn number 1.
You mentioned Alex Green in that red number 3, and yeah, he has had a heck of a night staying up front. He had to gain 22 spots to get it done. So that number 3 doing a very good here tonight.
A lot of these guys up front really have kind of had to claw their way through the field. I mean, Kevin Fries started 19th in this race, uncharacteristic from the driver of the 23. Usually we see him up on the front row, front couple of rows. But certainly it was out of character for him to start 19th, but obviously no surprise. He's running up front now. He will lead that lap as we have 34 laps to go. Alex Green again peeks to the outside. I think he's testing that for a little later on. Kody Neagles, 18th to 6th. Nate Warren, 29th to 7th. Logan Helton, 25th to 8th. So some big efforts out of some of these guys at the front that have just kind of made it happen when it matters. As we get closer to what appears to be the money stop. Now some 3 wide. Now some help back further for Josh Milam. And it comes in the form of his teammate Zach Fritsch. Zach Workman's trying to get his truck up there to help them. But now, finally, Milam's got some help up against the wall.
Josh Milam, Zach Fritsch working that 3rd lane up along the wall. Drivers giving them room. And into the trial when we go, but that 7 and 12 have a lot of ground to make up. They're not quite to the front yet.
Not quite, but it's going to take them a few laps, but they're chipping away. They've just passed McCara. They passed Laurie last time by. So they're making it happen just a little bit at a time. Now some separation, though. This is going to hurt as Fritsch gets just a little bit of space between himself and his teammate. They're kind of waiting for Workman, I think, and now Workman's close enough. They're going to be able to get a tow from their teammate. So watch out. FSR's coming to the front. Oh, boy, Korosik. That was a big moment at the front as Kevin Fries was off center. Almost a really, really awkward push in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Bottom's opened up here for Vicente Guerrero, who I said won Saturday night. He is looking to go back-to-back if you want to see it like that. On this racetrack, in the trucks, he actually did. It was this combination that he won in on Saturday night. So he's looking to make it happen on Monday, take his success and turn it into momentum. Hunter Reynolds is now leading the top. He's up against the wall. Now they've got 3 lined up. They're going to come to the front in a hurry, and look at that. Yep. As we're looking at them down the back straightaway, they are coming, and they are coming quick.
7 and the 12 have the momentum they finally wanted. The 26 of Hunter Reynolds jumps up there with them. And now those 3 trucks are battling 3 wide for the race lead. Going to come around and start lap number 70 of our 100 lap event. Keep in mind, we will use 2 attempts at a green-white checkered should we need them.
Karosik, that was a very bold move. Hunter Reynolds cleared Karosik and dropped across the middle line. Karosik said no, sir, and dropped to the bottom and left Kevin Freeze the middle. They actually both get through it. They're going to be 1-2. Now Guerrero goes to the middle. Dicing here. Guys looking to get track position as Karosik blocks Guerrero's run. That was a really late block, and it checked up the middle line a lot. Luckily, we get out of it okay. Hunter Reynolds was, I think, up underneath the 14, so just no chance to stop. Scrolls through a late block. Oh, Crosby Jr. loose on the bottom line. He's going to keep it together. And on the bottom, Kevin Freeze, Kody Neagles trying to lead the race, but up top, they are hooked up and rolling. Karosik back to the point. 30 laps to go from Daytona.
Lap traffic up ahead as it hits turn number 1. How is this going to shake out as Vicente Guerrero makes a bold move down to the inside? Vicente Guerrero in the 14 going to lead this field to the charge, or trying to charge around our laps car.
Now let's see where he goes. He's going to drop to the apron here in front of the leaders. He will keep it down off the racing surface. No harm, no foul there by Matt Wagner as he moves out of the way and allows the leaders to continue to race 2 by 2 up front. Karosik versus Guerrero. It seems to be the battle we've had for about the last 15 laps. These two just kind of traded the lead. Hunter Reynolds and Josh Milam, though, have made their way to the front along with Zach Fritsch. So some change up front, but alas, the first two trucks, much of the same, Karosik and Guerrero.
Kevin Freese in the 25, pushing on the 14 as Jeff Crosby Sr. gets out of the way. He drops down in the inside. Good heads-up move there. And for a minute there, I thought I was seeing trucks sideways, but I guess not.
Oh, we just did. I don't know if you caught that or not, but Hunter Reynolds was sideways off the bumper of Josh Milam as they came off turn 4. It allows Karosik to block the middle as they head back towards turn number 1, but Milam gave him an off-center push, and Hunter Reynolds had to chase it up the racetrack, allowed Karosik to clear back up for the lead. So a big moment there in turn number 4, almost collected some of the leaders. Karosik going to stay in the middle for now. It allows Guerrero to get some help on the bottom from Freeze and Kody Neagles. And like I said, this is a lot of guys up front that haven't won. Other than Helton and Freeze, all of these drivers have yet to win a race. And as we close in on that last pit stop, as we close in on the checkered flag, these guys have got to be thinking, okay, we got to shake these repeat winners out, and we can all fight it out for who's going to get checkered flag number 1.
All right, Kevin Freese hits pit road. Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler, Travis Elliott, Peter DeBorgia, Mark Mann, all on the pit lane. So strategies opening up for what could be the final pit stop here. Hunter Reynolds, Steve Karosik out in front. Ooh, okay. Our first pit stops are underway, so now it's up to everyone else to decide what to do.
Yeah, and throw a wrench in everything I said. I thought for sure we were going to be able to make it to lap number 80, and alas, we are not going to. Hunter Reynolds, Kody Neagles, Guerrero, as well as, I believe, Logan Helton in the 63, almost spins it out, but makes it to pit road anyway. Les Levy, Jimmy Reynolds as well coming in on the tail end of that group. Throw a wrench in what I said, because I thought we were going to make it to lap 80, basing it on a 20-lap fuel run. I don't think we can make it 26 laps. I mean, that's asking a lot. I don't think that small a boost is going to give these guys 10 extra laps, so we may be looking at a second pit stop here.
I don't know. They got something planned. Maybe they know a little bit more than we do. I just assume everyone knows more than I do. I'm going to be honest.
Oh, I'm sure they know more than I do up here, but it's just I could have sworn we were only going to be able to go 20 laps. Here comes another group. Karosik, Workman, Crosby Jr., Milam, Tyler Miller, Stephen Miles, David Booth, and there's one other truck back there I cannot quite make out. I'll try to figure that out for you here. as they hit their pit box. It was Bubba Winningham and Zach Workman. That's the other trucks in this group. McCara stays out yet again. We saw them run along the first run. They're going to do exactly the same. McCara, Gilchrist, Green, English, Kilday, Warren, Sanchez, Stevens, John Guerra is back there, and Richard Kuhn. These are the guys that are going to decide to try to run it a few extra laps and just make sure they've got enough fuel in the tank to go the rest of the way.
All right, so Sean McCara out in front, and he does have to make one more pit stop, and he is coming down pit road this time. That gives the lead to Sean Stevens and Richard Kuhn. These two do not come down pit road with 24 laps to go.
Very odd decision out of these two to see them not make the left turn to pit road. They're going to just decide to run it out, I guess, and maybe they know more than the drivers ahead of them did. Maybe they were able to save, and perhaps they're going to be able to stretch it. Maybe some other guys can't. I don't know. We're going to have to see what a fuel run is. I don't think a 10% boost in fuel is a 10-lap gain. I really don't. So if that's the case, and these two can make it, the other 20, 25 trucks at the front can't, boy, how good would this strategy look if they can stretch it all the way to the end once they make their last pit stops here.
Very interesting. 27 and the 47 do not pit. The driver who is out in front that has made a pit stop that can make it to the end of the race, that is the 19 of Zach Workman. Vicente Guerrero, Hunter Reynolds in hot pursuit, and the 14 going to make a move to the outside.
Yep, he's going up to pick up his teammate Neagles. No surprise, the Limitless boys are on the charge on the outside with the help of Logan Helton. And on the inside, they just got some stiff competition down there. Workman, our Stage 1 and Stage 2 winner, Hunter Reynolds, Zach Fritz, Jeff Crosby Jr. So the two groups that pit earliest, I should say, is the leaders. You see them on your screen making their pit stops. That's Sean Stevens and Richard Kuhn. They make what we presume to be their last pit stops. We'll have to see. Logan Helton, oh boy, loose as the third truck in line on the middle on the back straightaway. That was a big moment. As we go 2x2 formation, Zach Workman back to the point in 3.
So Workman, who has won the first 2 stages here tonight, trying to make it a clean sweep and win the race, and he's positioning himself well.
Yeah, no surprise. The strategy worked out for him. Well, okay, so we're going to have to see. They bypass Richard Kuhn and Sean Stevens as they exit pit road. Now, we'll have to just wait and see how much time they can put on those two trucks. If these guys cannot make it, those two can, then those two will just have to, they'll have to just embrace the fact, okay, hey, we know they have to make another pit stop. We don't. We can just save fuel if we need to. Run with that second group. I think they're going to tag along with the second pack. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting as the laps wind down. 21 to go when the leaders hit the start-finish line. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. Was that the race-winning call out of Sean Stevens and Richard Kuhn in the 47?
I don't know. This is all still new. I mean, because keep in mind, we didn't have cautions for the stages, but we increased the fuel level by 5%. So maybe they can go 25 laps.
I don't see it. I mean, we were used to them going about 17 tops, and that was like a max run that you could do was about 17 laps on the old fuel load. So I don't think it's that much of a gain. I'm not sure if maybe it just happened to work out that way for the guys at the front where they had to accept, okay, we're going to have to make 2 pit stops. I mean, this potentially could still not be the race for the win as leaders come up on more lap traffic. That's Jeff Crosby Sr. in the 15 that's going to dive to the apron. Same is the case for Matt Wagner, who will go another lap down. I don't know. I mean, it could be the race for the win if they can make it, but we don't know. And I don't know. It's going to be really interesting. Under 20 laps to go, and we still don't know if they can make it to the end.
Kevin Freese in the 25 now has the race lead. He is going to drop to the middle. get hooked up with the 6 of Kody Neagles, the 14 of Vicente Guerrero with the run on the inside. Comes off of turn number 4 with the race lead. Kevin Fries, Steve Karosik on the outside. These 3 trucks at the line have 19 laps to go.
Guerrero's around. He's going to hit the inside retaining wall. Oh no, what a tough break. Karosik cleared down across Kevin Fries and was not clear. Oh, and Guerrero, this might be a death blow for the 14. In fact, it is. He's going to toe to pit road. Wow, what a horrible break for Vicente Guerrero. As Steve Karosik cleared down across the middle, he was not clear.
Oh, hold on. Let me back that up just a bit. Too far. This is kind of hard. All right, let's take a look here. See how this develops. As they make their way off of turn number 4, you can see the 14 of Vicente Guerrero and the 19 of Zach Workman down on the yellow line. Into the trial will they go. Oh, in trouble for Karosik in the middle lane. Hip checks the 14.
Yeah, I think he maybe got a clear call from his spotter. He just, by a matter of inches, was not clear of the 25. And as he did that, he caught the right front of Kevin Fries' truck. Pit stops, meanwhile. Zach Fritsch leads them on. A huge group comes onto pit road here with 18 to go. So there's our confirmation. They cannot make it to the end, but wow, I mean, it's the toughest of breaks for Vicente Guerrero, who just was kind of an innocent bystander as Karosik just misjudged that gap by about 6 inches, and the 14th night is done.
So Vicente Guerrero out of the race. He will join the 46 of David Overstreet. And actually, Vicente Guerrero is rolling out of his pit stall. Not too bad.
It must have been some form of wheel damage then, I guess. I don't know why he would tow unless he knew he couldn't get back to pit road. Pit stops back up front. Some more takers. Karosik, Fries, Elliott, Levy, DeBorgia, Laurie, and Alex Green. That's the trucks I can see. And Richard Kuhn is in as well. So that hands the lead over to Logan Helton. It's a 3-truck breakaway at the front.
$16 laps to go. These 3 trucks were last on pit road on lap 74. And so with that being said, with 16 laps to go, that's still, I don't know what the play is here.
Well, the play is to come to pit road, and here they come, the 3 leaders. A lap after that big group, they decide, all right, we can't wait any longer. They're going to come and make their final pit stops. Whoa, Logan Helton. Oh, boy, the rear tires are spinning on the 63. That was a big moment as he almost slid it out of control in front of the 2 guys he came to pit road with. Yep, that's the guy to watch. On your screen right now, you're on board with Steve Karosik. And let's see how quickly these 3 guys can make pit stops. They are down and away. Logan Helton and Neagles are down and away. Still waiting on their partner, Hunter Reynolds. I think they're going to beat him. I really do. They got to wait on Hunter a little bit, though. The leaders are going to flash by the start-finish line. Let's see. Helton's in the middle of 1 and 2. Guerrero and Brigante go flying by.
Yep, John Guerrero last on pit road on lap 76, so he is a bit off sequence still, but he does inherit the race lead. Logan Helton, though, trying to get up to speed. And you almost have to make it all the way to the front stretch to call it clear. So he just going to fall a little bit short as here comes Zach Fritsch.
Well, they're going to be able to blend with them, though, and that's going to be a big advantage, I think. They're going to be 2-3 rows back on the bottom, maybe 4 rows back tops. So a solid stop. They just got to get up. They're still not completely up to speed as several trucks go on by. So I don't know. It's an interesting call to stay out an extra lap, but They're going to blend, and actually Josh Milam's going to drop down and pick up Logan Helton. So the charge to the front begins now for the 7, the 63, and the 6. They still remain the only 3 up on the bottom. Now Helton, oh boy, he bails. He blends back to the top. An interesting decision by the 63 of Logan Helton as he bails on his 2 partners. And oh, here come the leaders. They're going to bypass John Guerra and Andy Brigante, who are off sequence, as they hit into 3. And Milam's still the only guy on the bottom, actually. Oh, nope. Neagles stays below. They got help coming, though, in the form of Peter DeBorgia.
Three, 4 wide, a little bit of contact.
Oh, we keep it straight.
We're still green. Still holding on to it. Still, maybe. We're good. We're good. We got this.
We are good, but obviously I don't think Kody Neagles is going to be a very happy camper after that one, as they tried to squeeze past the lap traffic of John Guerra. Well, not lap traffic, but the guys they were bypassing, Guerra and Brigante, and Kody got tagged trying to go past him in the middle. So can't imagine he's going to be happy out of that exchange. Neither will Josh Milam. Meanwhile, up front, we're gonna fan out. New leader Tyler Miller in the 24. He goes to the bottom with the help of his teammate Zach Workman. FSR all up here now. I see 4 of their trucks. I'm missing one, but oh no, they're all 5. There's Josh Milam in the middle going to help his teammate. So FSR have 4 trucks in the middle line, and their 5th one is leading the bottom.
All right, so the 25 and the 63 up on the top shelf. They are digging hard up there, and they got some help. 1 truck down below the yellow line. Can't quite tell who that is.
Miller again drops out. What a move. Tyler Miller, middle to bottom. He wants the race lead. That's a great move from Tyler Miller. His teammate behind him, though, Workman, gets a little out of shape, as does Zach Fritsch in the middle. The field bypasses Casey Gilchrist in the tri-oval. 3x3, 5 rows deep, with 11 laps to go from Daytona back towards turn 1. Miller, Korosik, freeze the front row of trucks.
And they are 4 rows deep, 3x3. Oh, okay. Can you think we can make it 11 laps like this?
Personally, based on what I've seen this season, I'm gonna say no. We'll see. Maybe they prove me wrong again, but I say no, not based on the racing we're seeing right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, if they can make it like this, it'll be a heck of a show for us. And right now, they are putting on a great show as we are 3 deep, like 3 wide, 5 deep. Got it. Nailed it. I can do that.
Yeah, I thought for a second they were going to bypass Tyler Miller and kind of bury him on the bottom. Oh, contact. Workman's around. Fritsch is around, and we're wrecking at the front of the field. Freeze, Milam, Neagles, Sanchez wrecking again as McCara's going to go around.
So caution flag coming out. And this was another big one down the backstretch. Multiple trucks involved, including the 6 of Kody Neagles. Take a look here from the spotter. You see Zach Workman, big wiggle out of him. Logan Helton able to get through. Anthony English squeezes by. Sanchez pointed the wrong direction. On board with the 6 of Kody Neagles. Big time spin down the back stretch. A lot of trucks involved in this one.
But a lot of good trucks, I think, is the main thing out of this. We'll have to see what the damage is on the 25 of Kevin Freese. He bounced off the outside wall. He will maintain his position in 4th. But we'll have to see what the extent of the damage is. We'll see if he has any wheel damage out of that. He did go right front into the outside wall. And when we see that happen, sometimes it throws the toe out of the right front. and you have to come get it fixed. It's not damage you can race with. You can race with a lot of damage on these trucks. I mean, we've seen some damaged trucks out there tonight for sure, but wheel damage it can be fatal, and it can sideline your entire race. Oh boy, Logan Helton and Travis Elliott. We've seen that before, but it always takes me by surprise when they do a little the juke out on pit road.
Gotta fake you out somehow.
Well, they faked me out. I thought for sure Helton and Elliott were going to pit right there, and I was going to question it, but no, they're just pulling some mind games with the guys behind them. Some damaged trucks staying out here, so let's see what the extent of the damage on those trucks is. The team most impacted by that is Fuel Sim Racing. FSR had 4 of their 5 trucks, I believe, involved in that incident. I saw for sure Fritz, Crosby, and Workman. I don't know about Josh Milam, and he is in 14th. I'm not sure if he was involved in that or not. But Tyler Miller, all of a sudden, is alone for FSR at the front of the field.
Speaking of FSR, let's go ahead and take a look at who the members of FSR are this year. Josh Milam, Zach Fritsch, Zach Workman, Tyler Miller, and Jeff Crosby Jr. Steve Karosik in the 027 is your race leader. Tyler Miller. I gotta be honest, I do believe that's the first time I've seen Tyler Miller in this paint scheme. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he ran it once before. But it is taking me a while to get used to it.
Yeah, I wanted to say it's the same one we saw him in last time we saw him on the racetrack. Maybe it's different, and I'm just, I don't know, blind and don't know what I'm looking at. But maybe a new look for Tyler Miller. Well, it must be helping if it is a new look. Great run for him again tonight. Still looking for his first win. But he's in prime position here, inside 10 to go to get it done tonight.
Alright, so with all of that going down, lights are out on the Chevy Silverado. We are going to go green flag with 6 laps to go. And so with 6 laps to go, this is make or break time. You gotta put yourself in position to win the race. But you cannot take yourself out of the race by crashing into somebody or causing an incident, and so it's a fine line to walk right now.
Yeah, it is. Certainly you have to pick your battles. You have to pick what moves you think are right but not dangerous, that are going to take you or others out of this race. And certainly some guys up here that are willing to make those kinds of moves. Karosik, Freeze, Miller, Helton are guys that come to mind. They're our top 4. A little further back, Hunter Reynolds, I think, is the first guy you're going to see make an effort to get up to the front. Josh Milam will be one of those guys as well. Kody Neagles is actually 13th, so even after that long, drawn-out spin on the back straightaway, he will maintain somewhat of his track position. He's 13th for the restart, so he's not out of this at all. Neither is Jeff Crosby Jr., who will restart just to his outside. So a lot of guys a little further back that maybe got lucky out of that caution, if you can call it lucky. Not a lot of guys that you can say are out of this one, especially on this at this configuration of Daytona.
All right, so they stack them up 2 by 2. They make their way to the front stretch, and we're going to fire them off once again. But here we go. Silverado down and away. And the field gets back to the throttle, and we are back underway with 6 laps to go. Oh boy, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. It's right. Let's see. Karosik got a really good restart. Let's see if he goes and picks up the middle, and that he will do, but it was a little bit late. Oh, that's twice tonight. He's made that move just about a second too late. I say a second too late, in my view. Obviously, in his view, probably not. But outside line is coming. Look now. Richard Kuhn is the first truck on the outside against the wall. Jeff Crosby Jr., Stephen Miles going with him. Now Miles fades back in line. They are going to try to make some headway up top, though. It may open a gap for Kody Neagles. No, it will not. Stephen Miles will fill that very quickly. Still 2x2 up front. Karosik, Freeze, Miller, Elliott. Team Bootnaka teammates on the bottom in the form of Freeze and Elliott, but they are going to get bypassed. Tyler Miller to the bottom for the race lead. 5 laps to go at Daytona. What a move that was. Meanwhile, here comes Alliance. Mark Mann and Hunter Reynolds as we're going to get kind of sideways. New leader, Tyler Miller in turn number 1.
Tyler Miller is your new race leader. But Steve Karosik is trying to take it away from him. Karosik has the advantage in that middle lane with help from the 63 of Logan Helton. And Logan just wants to push the 027 clear so that he does not have a truck to his outside and he can make a move.
Yeah, top line has arrived at the party. Gabe Butler, Mark Mann, Hunter Reynolds, they have worked their way to the front. Butler's trying to spoil it for these guys up here. Helton, you said it, he's boxed in right now. Stephen Miles is trying to play spoiler. How about the 8 truck? He's starting the line in the middle all of a sudden, and he's in contention for this win. So a lot of potential new winners have made their presence known with 4 laps to go. 3 wide, 5 rows deep in this field. Kilday, Sanchez, they're making their way to the front. Helton's around, and we're going to wreck again on the back straightaway.
And no caution just yet. We should see one here. We got 2 in the wall, but we stay green. We had 2 in the wall as they were just all sorts of jammed up, but nothing yet. And now the yellow flag comes out.
Yep, now it comes out, and I'm kind of surprised it took that long, despite the fact we had a bunch of trucks out of shape.
Yeah,
and
well,
they flashed by the line.
One thing, but the 2 into the wall, that one should have been a caution seen earlier, but there was so much going on, they were trying to sort it all out, I'm sure. Let's see here. We can figure out what happened. It's not quite right. Hard to see this here. There we go. Logan Helton turned off of turn number 2. Hunter Reynolds in the wall with Richard Sanchez, and those 2 were trending down the track quite a bit. Take a look from the blimp here, and just 3 wide racing, close, tight, hard racing. One more time. Man, did the 85 take a shot.
Yeah, he did, and Josh Milam actually is in it as well. I did not see him get involved the first time. Oh boy, he slides back across the racetrack.
That's okay. Yeah, yellow right there.
Well, yeah, I did not see that part the first time. Oh boy, that's a really big moment for Kilday and Josh Milam. An interesting development up front that I will point out really quickly. Kevin Freeze has brought his truck to pit road. He gives up second position, so not enough gas in the 25 machine, and now that raises the question, the guys that pit with him in that first group on our last pit stop, do they have enough to go green, white, checkers? I don't know, because Freeze has just had to give up his spot on the racetrack, so this could get really interesting as we head into overtime here.
Yeah, this will be our first attempt at a green, white, checkered. So Tyler Miller, last on pit road on lap 83. Steve Karosik, last on pit road, lap 84. Jeff Crosby Jr. last on pit road on lap 92, so he is for sure good to go to the end of all of this. But our first attempt at a green-white checkered here. We will use one more if we have to, and all we have to do is cross the start-finish line and get the white flag, and that'll be the end of our attempts.
Yeah, we're going to line it up and go for an overtime restart here. And the field again shuffled, and now fuel mileage is a factor. I can tell you the pit stop from Kevin Freese was not fuel. It was unscheduled. It was not a fuel stop. It was actually for damage sustained in the last, not the last incident, but the one before that, with about 10 laps to go. So the hit to the wall, like I said, it gave him some suspension damage. He couldn't turn, is what I got from what I heard. So not a fuel stop. But it doesn't change the fact these guys still might be short at the front of the field.
All right, well, we're going to find out as they stack them up 2 by 2. We get ready to fire off once again. On the front row, Tyler Miller, Steve Karosik. Row number 2 going to be the 04 of Mark Mann. The 88 of Gabe Butler. How about that? Gabe Butler has had his fair share of ups and downs in this race. All right, guys, let us know who is going to win this one tonight. Make sure you shout it out loud and proud. Only one person can come away with the race win tonight. Who's it going to be?
Well, I can't speak for those in the chat. I can't give you who I think's going to win, and this is the person that's definitely going to crash late in the race. So, as has been the case the last 2 weeks, they can blame it on me. I mean, obviously you want to pick Tyler Miller or Steve Karosik here. I think that's a home run pick up front, but that's a little bit of cheating. They've been up front a lot of the night, so go a little further back. Let's go with, I think you take Anthony English. How about Anthony English? The 44 truck is position number 8 on this restart. And at one point in this race, I believe, don't correct me if I'm wrong, he was 2 laps down. So green, white, checkered, he's well in the conversation to win this race. 2 laps to go, green, white, checkered, here we go.
Yeah, he was not on the lead lap for quite a bit of this race, but here he is in position to win. We're going to find out as the green flag flies and we get back to making some noise. The 24 and the 027 lead the field to turn number 1 side by side. We already got a few trucks jumping up into the 3rd lane, one of those being the 44 of Anthony English.
Well, I mean, I said it, now I'm not surprised, but the problem for English is no one behind him is going with him. I think Neagles wanted to, but just not a full commitment to it yet. They don't quite have the run. Now he's willing to go. Here we go. English and Richard Kuhn, actually, they're both going to go to the top. Oh, they're going to get pushed out of line. English bullies his way back to the middle in front of Logan Helton. Now Neagles will push the 47 of Richard Kuhn. Kody Neagles has staked his claim. He wants to go to the front, but can he do it with the 47 and the 3? Meanwhile, up front, 2 by 2, Miller, Karosik, Mann, Butler, Crosby, and Anthony English. We are going to finish it right here. White flag, 1 lap to go from Daytona.
Final time around, and we are going to have a little bit of contact at tri-oval exit, but Steve Karosik in the 027 out in front, the 24 of Tyler Miller trying to take it away as he's down on the inside. Dawson, these guys have a challenge coming from the 3rd lane.
I don't think they're going to get there, though. The help is just not there. That they cannot get much of a run going. Every time it looks like Richard Kuhn's going to be there, he loses some ground, and that is the case on the back straightaway. Into turn number 3, it's going to be mano-a-mano. Karosik and Miller. Does anybody behind them have anything for them? They scramble. They still scramble. We're going to have a first-time winner off turn number 4.
Here we come off of turn number 4 as they race to the line. Steve Karosik is going to pick up the win here tonight, and he gets his first win of the season.
Yeah, good for Steve. It's a big effort out of him tonight, and he goes and gets it done. It's another new winner. He's locked into the playoffs, and he's already celebrating halfway down the backstretch, already waving the back end back and forth. And he can thank Gabe Butler for that one. Boy, Butler, I thought for sure was going to go for the win. Instead, content to just ride, take the points, and come home third. But wow, what a great night for Steve Kurosik.
As Kurosik brings it on to the front stretch, Gabe Butler in the 88. And get a little bit of a hit check as the 027 tries to burn it down. Oh my. The 88 really enjoying this win for Steve Kurosik.
Yeah, I think Kurosik's going to enjoy it as well as Peter DePorcia just tries to get around him on the cooldown lap. Kurosik, yeah, this is a big celebration. This is a big one for Steve to get locked in. He talked to me actually before the race about how frustrating last season was for him on Monday nights. So for this to happen to him tonight, I'm sure we're going to get a very excited Steve Kurosik here in just a couple of minutes.
All right. I do not. Him. There he is. I found him. All right, Dawson, you've caught up with our race winner, and that is the 027.
Yeah, Steve, it's the boys in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well, you led almost the whole race. It felt like you were up front in the conversation. You get it done. You're locked into playoffs. Take us through it. How's it feel?
I still can't believe it. I've had nothing but bad luck in 2 seasons of OP, and this is just a long time coming. It feels good, and I got the Lima tribute scheme on tonight. This one's for him, honoring my teammate. I run it for the rest of the season. So I'm glad I got the win with the first night running the scheme. It's good luck.
Yeah, and you get the job done tonight. You talked about how frustrating it's been for you, and we've seen it ourselves this season, just how bad your luck's been. So kind of take us through, where was your head at going into tonight, knowing the bad luck you've had, but knowing you still had to get a win. Just kind of take us through, how you're dealing with the luck this season, and how you got to this point where you won the race.
Yeah, I feel like the speed's there. Like, it seems like we're always up front and leading the most laps, but I just get collected in the wrecks or whatever. And, it happens. It's racing. But I just, going into tonight, I didn't know what to expect because I didn't have any teammates. Seabass couldn't make it. You didn't have power. Lima's not racing. And so I wasn't sure what I was going to do. The goal was just to be aggressive and stay at the front for the whole race, or at least as long as I could. And I was just in the right position there at the end. I was exactly where I wanted to be, and Gabe Butler stuck with me. He could have easily took me 3 and left me out and won it himself. So, just shout out to Gabe Butler for sticking with me there at the end. And Kevin Freese helped me out during the race a lot. So that was nice there because I really didn't have anybody.
Well, yeah, and kind of take us through that. Like, how how does it differ maybe from the guys on teams, just in the way you race, knowing you're not going to have anybody you can directly communicate with, but you start looking for some allies perhaps, and we've seen you run with Gabe and Kevin in the past, obviously, but just kind of take us through what it's like to run up front not having any teammates.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Your senses are heightened. They're doing a lot of mirror driving, paying attention to the relative, just watching the runs. I mean, that's really all I could do because I don't have anybody to back me up. So if I see a run coming, I try and time it to where I don't check up the lane like harshly, but I know that it still happens sometimes, but I try and minimize it. But you got to go with the run wherever it's at and just try and stay up there. If somebody passes you, then just no lift, shove them to the front, and then get past the lanes and try and go back up and get back up there. It's a never-ending cycle. A lot of work.
Well, you certainly did a fair amount of work tonight. You come home with the victory. Last thing for you, we'll let you go celebrate. Any thank you shout-outs you want to give?
Yeah, there he says shout out to Kevin and Gabe for helping me out there at the end, and shout out to Dale Cup. I miss my teammates. Just thanks that they couldn't be here this week. And shout out to you guys up in the broadcast booth. It's always fun to watch it after, and Shout out to OP and the drivers. It was fun. I can't believe we finally had one go our way.
Well, and that you did. That's our race winner, Steve Karosik. Go celebrate it. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, man.
Hi, there you have it. Steve Karosik, our race winner. Dawson, nice job there. But now we have to move on to our second place driver, who I had moved once before, but I gotta find him again. And there he is. And the driver of the 88 who brings it home in second place here tonight, that is none other than Gabe Butler. Gabe, congratulations on your second place finish.
Hey, I'll take that in the Cartoon Racing Super Speedway Series.
The Cartoon Racing Super Speedway Series, huh? What'd you think of tonight's race?
I enjoyed it. I mean, probably a little bit too many cautions, but I mean, you know, getting a P2 out of that is worth it for me. So I'll take it. Good job by the teammates too. So.
All right. Well, Gabe, you know, this race wasn't without its issues for you. So tell us a little bit about your race, how you went sideways a couple of times from the back to the front and all that good stuff.
Kind of nature of the beast here. The first wreck I got in, I repaired most of it off. The second one, I had too much damage, so I had to take a fast repair. And so I ran to 3/4 of the race without a fast repair. So I was kind of semi-cautious and was able to get through the rest of it, I think, and got caught up in another one. But I figured at that point I'll just stay out and take my chances, and got it to work out.
All right, man. Well, nice job out here tonight to bring it home in second place with that number 88. Shout outs, thank yous that you'd like to give?
Well, big shout out to you, KR, #1 broadcaster on YouTube for iRacing, and just put the check in the mail. Team Bootnaka, great night, fellas. And of course, OP and all the admins. I know the admins, it's a thankless job and somebody's got to do it, and I think they do a great job, all things considered. So big shout out to the admins of OP.
All right, well, there you have it. That is Gabe Butler, driver of the 88. Thank you, Gabe, and go celebrate your win with your teammates. All right, now we move on to our third and final place finisher, or final step of the podium. And Dawson, this one's you.
Yeah, Tyler Miller, it's the boys in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, man.
All right, well, you come home third. It ended up being a really great run for you. Just kind of take us through it and take us through how you're feeling right about now.
It's a good night. Everything got wrecked early. Managed to save my last car and still managed to do that and get some stage points and get a top 3. So overall, good night. It's always refreshing after a bad week. Then I missed a week, and then so it's good to get back and have a good week.
Yeah, and that you did. Kind of take us through. You said you got stage points tonight. Kind of take us through what the mindset was for you guys as drivers without the stage cautions tonight. How did you guys deal with no cautions and the pit strategy around that?
Well, it was we also added more fuel, so I mean, you know, you kind of know to stop how much you need. I got stage points because I was saving my truck, and then there was an accident that gave me like an extra 10 spots. So once I got up front, to me, your safest bet is either up front or in the back. So I decided to stay up front and ended up with a few stage points.
Well, yeah, and that you did, and you come home third out of it. You said you had a bad week, then you missed a week. Well, it's right back to the good week for you, finishing in position number 3. Any thank you, shout-outs you want to give for your performance tonight?
Oh, yeah, shout out to the FSR team with Rich and Workman and Jeff and Josh and all the people at home watching. I know Eric, Christina watched some, and then I think Jeff's and Zach's wife watched some as well. So shout out to them and you guys up there in the booth.
All right, well, congrats on that third place finish. We'll let you go celebrate, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, man.
All right, there you have it. Tyler Miller, driver of the 24 on the final step of the podium here tonight. So Dawson, not a whole lot left, but to go through the results here. And we talked to our top three, that being Steve Carosi, Gabe Butler, Tyler Miller, but then Anthony English, with a great turnaround, ends up in fourth, and Mark Mann rounds out the top five.
Yeah, going back a little further, Jeff Crosby Jr. will go sixth tonight. Logan Helton in seventh. Sean Stevens and Richard Kuhn, after their bold strategy call, they come home eighth and ninth. And Zach Workman rounds out your top 10.
Then Stephen Miles, Kody Neagles, Kevin Freese, Alex Green, and the 40 of Peter DeBorgia in 15th spot.
16th will be Travis Elliott, 17th Casey Gilchrist, 18th Eric Laurie, 19th Hunter Reynolds, and rounding out your top 20 tonight, Richard Sanchez.
Vicente Guerrero 21st, 22nd goes to Zach Fritsch, Les Levy 23rd, John Guerrero 24th, and Josh Milam in 25th.
Last truck on the lead lap tonight, Adam Kilday in 26th. First truck a lap down in the finishing results tonight, David Booth in position number 27. Nate Warren finishes 28th. Jimmy Reynolds 29th. Rounding out your top 30 is Bubba Winningham.
Matt Wagner, Jeff Crosby Sr., Sean McCara, Andy Brigante, and David Overstreet round out our 35 truck field here tonight. So Dawson, this one is in the books. All the new changes for sure has a spin on the strategy, but it won't take these guys long to figure it out.
I don't think so. I think you saw the first bit of that tonight, even going to stage 2 versus stage 1. I think they kind of got an idea in stage 1, like, all right, well, we definitely have to change our approach. And as we continue, I think it may differ by track a little bit, depending, and we'll obviously have to see how that goes. But it was a fun change. I liked it a lot. I think it gives a whole new element to this kind of racing that maybe was a bit neglected early in the season, and it's going to make these guys think a little bit harder and work a little bit harder, and I'm all for it.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for joining me here tonight. I appreciate you coming in each and every week. So too does the rest of the fans, because, well, I'll tell you what, they don't want to hear me talk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know about that. I think they would have. They definitely would have. They would have stormed the booth by now, I think, if they didn't want you to talk.
Well, that's only because they don't know where I live. You should see the hate emails I get.
Oh boy.
I kid. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. And Dawson, why don't you sign us out, bud?
Yeah, I certainly will. Next Monday, I believe we are back at. Don't quote me on this. This is bad. I believe we're at iRacing Super Speedway. We're either there or at Daytona. I can't remember. I'll have to look at the schedule, and that's a lack of research on my part. We'll be back next Monday, the same time, though, regardless of what track we are at. Thanks, everybody, for watching tonight. For Mr. KR Stolfus, I'm Dawson Wise. We'll see you guys next Monday.